Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think this is taking place? So just ask yourself, do you think that all of this is coincidence? Do you think that it's coincidence that the Clinton campaign, according to a congressman speaking with Maria Bartiromo yesterday, do you think that when this congressman stated, and I have the segment prior to this one yesterday, it's doing well, when this GOP congressman stated, oh yeah, these allegations against the former vice president started in 2016. What you're hearing right now regarding the Ukraine and Biden and his son, those were issues that forced the vice president out of the 2015 race. That is what the Clinton campaign tried to either foment or, publicize, to try to say, hey, you know what, Joe, you probably should leave the campaign. Why do you think it's surfacing now? The alleged courageous, amazing whistleblower doesn't even have direct knowledge. And then you have Democrats and media. They've created their own reality. This is their own reality. They're looking at this from the vantage point of yet another Trump worked with Russia scenario. That one was purchased essentially by the Golden Muumuu, a Steele dossier that was purchased by Trump's direct political rival. Let's phrase it in the way that CNN and MSNBC would phrase it if the shoe were on the other foot, if the tables were reversed, if they flipped the script. A direct political rival of President Trump, Clinton, a direct political rival, went and purchased a dossier, a salacious, unverified dossier that was used by President Obama's administration. And of course, President Obama knew what was going on in his administration, used against Trump. And there was an investigation where not only a dossier purchased by Clinton funneling money through her law firm, but also CrowdStrike that was outsourced by the Democratic Party because the DNC never looked at the United States government never looked at DNC servers. So you have a situation, people, where, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a coincidence. There's this new Ukraine story where Giuliani just found out, or he's been working on it for a while, and there's nothing wrong with the president asking a foreign power, a foreign country, if an American official committed a crime. There's nothing wrong with that. President Obama's administration did infinitely worse. And actually, Joe Biden, and we found this out because he's on video bragging at the Council on Foreign Relations about his exploits, saying that, yeah, you know what, in his usual tough, salt of the earth manner, I said you're not getting the $1 billion unless you, another country, let's meddle in your affairs, fire a prosecutor that just happens to be looking into a corporation that my son is on and, getting a really great income from. So we just found out the $3 million, check out my segment prior to this one, was funneled to Hunter Biden. Okay, if you want to say, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, he's not part of the government. Yeah, it's called a conflict of interest. When they say the new spin around Andrew McCabe is like, well, he didn't hurt anyone. What's the problem? He lied. It was an internal investigation where he lied. The reason he lied under oath was because he was compromised, because there was a conflict of interest. He should have recused himself from both the Clinton email investigation and the absurd Trump-Russia nonsense, which was purchased by the Golden Muumuu, who happens to benefit from this latest Ukraine thing, getting two birds with one stone. Biden is not going to politically survive from this. It ain't going to happen. There's zero organic grassroots support for Biden. Absolutely zero. When there are polls done, the polls even help Clinton and bolster Clinton's chances to run? First of all, she's running. She's definitely going to run. Whether it's before the Super Tuesday in March or tomorrow, I don't know. I don't know what kind of sinister scheme they're going to continue to plan after the Ukraine story. But the issue here, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. Democrats accuse Trump of what they're guilty of doing. Consistently. That's the issue. That's what goes on. And they cannot function without blaming others for informing the United States of America of their misconduct. Happened with Russia. Russia informed the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. We know this from very corrupt intelligence officials who lie all the time under oath. Clapper, Brennan, Andrew McCabe, and James Comey told many things that were not true under oath in congressional hearings. So the Democrats ran with it. When it's the executive branch, they don't trust government. When it's the Justice Department, they don't trust William Barr. But they definitely trust Clapper, Brennan, Comey, Strzok, McCabe because it fits their narrative. It fits their narrative. When there's an FBI probe they don't like, well, you know what? Oh my God, look how it's so horrible. And it was a security review. It was a matter, not an investigation. So these aren't obstructive claims. This is an obstruction of justice when it's the Democrats. They have no standard of behavior. There's no value system. They're all over the place simply because they have this unadulterated, this unbridled quest for political influence. And it's because it's a political machine run by two people. I keep saying that when Clinton runs, not if, when she runs, either before Super Tuesday, where she just would literally get enough delegates that day to wrap up the nomination, or tomorrow, or after the fourth debate, who knows, or before the fourth debate, we don't know. She's going to run because Biden's campaign is basically done. There is no campaign. He fought cornflakes and grape nuts was there. And his claim to fame is that he's defeated every breakfast cereal known to man, and that's it. That's it. He got 1% in Iowa in 2008. There's no chance. First of all, there's no chance that he becomes nominee, but there's also no chance that Elizabeth Warren. Notice that Elizabeth Warren hasn't really, in the aggregate polls and Real Clear Politics, hasn't really broken away from Bernie Sanders. They're basically the same person. Although one person failed her DNA test, and another person said, "Thank you, may I have another? Thank you, ma'am, and may I have another?" That's what Bernie is all about. So this theatrical performance, this farce, this ridiculous, sad, pathetic excuse for a political party, how do I explain it? This is a bad, really just pathetic attempt at some kind of play, some kind of theater. This is a horrible film on politics, on an election where we know what's going on. We know that Biden cannot, Clinton can own servers outside of the United States government with top secret and special access program intelligence on them. Nobody knows how she was able to transfer this 2,000 plus classified emails, top secret intelligence, special access program intelligence on servers running on Microsoft Exchange software where sometimes she logged on through her local cable station. Okay? Nobody knows how that was possible. Then James Comey said, you know what, she didn't really intend to do it. No reasonable prosecutor. You could prosecute Clinton in a second. In a second. Nobody gave her the authority to do so, and there wasn't a loophole. There wasn't, some kind of, is it possible where the nation's top diplomat can have servers running outside the United States government where nobody in the intelligence community would even know what she was writing? That's the whole point of having an intelligence community, to make sure that there aren't breaches. This was a security breach, a cybersecurity debacle, and a cybersecurity breach of epic proportions. It is absurd, but it's almost to the point where it's so absurd, it's almost certain that they all were in on it, And that definitely, that whole thing was a charade anyway, but it wasn't just Strzok and Comey and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan and all of them. Very likely a lot more people. Definitely President Obama. He lied to the country when he said, I learned when everybody else learned. Yeah, right. So she can get away with that. Okay? Overt graft and money laundering. 85 donors giving $156 million to the Clinton Foundation. Boeing, Haiti, $10 billion raised. Where'd that money go? I interviewed Daddy Cherry, a Haitian-born journalist, amazing woman who is at the forefront of politics, journalism and politics in Haiti. She stated maybe 3% of the $10 billion, 3% of the $10 billion was that was raised maybe reached the people of Haiti. Where did the other money go? Okay, where did all the pledge, the donors, all the people who promised the money to Haiti, where did that go? Again, these issues, ladies and gentlemen, Trump is the tiki torch monster, although it was President Obama, Clinton, and Biden who presided over the actual destruction of Libya. And it's President Trump who signs the First Step Act, record low Black and Latino unemployment, lower unemployment for Latino men than the national average. 3.1% to 3.7% is the national average for unemployment. Okay? The economy is running well. It's not perfect, but it's running well. Foreign policy is infinitely better than President Obama's foreign policy. What's the point of this segment? The point of this segment is that Biden's campaign is basically done. Biden's campaign is basically over. There is no more campaign. Okay? There is no more presidential campaign for Biden. Right now, he's going to be running on fumes. The fumes of the momentary lapse that Clinton had from running in 2016 to 2020. He has no campaign. It's done. We're only at the beginning. We have no clue how $3 million... We have no clue exactly. We kind of know how it's laundered. It was laundered through a couple of countries, but we don't know exactly what took place. We don't know exactly the details regarding the months and months of pressure to fire a certain prosecutor in the Ukraine. They meddled. It was President Obama's administration who meddled in the politics of the Ukraine. More than that, that's just one story. There's a whole bunch of stories regarding what took place. The Obama administration funding or backing really unsavory organizations within the Ukraine. But there's no more Biden 2020. That's absurd. He never was even close to the presidency, aside from being the vice president. He never was able to run a viable campaign. In 2008, he had a plagiarism controversy. You can look that up. He got 1% in Iowa in 2008. Democrats, every demographic, they're not thrilled with him. They only think he's electable, but he's not electable. He's not going to defeat Trump. Okay, he's not going to raise $2 billion. He wouldn't if he was the nominee. And Clinton raised $2 billion, and she still lost. Okay, sorry, $1.2 billion. She spent him 2-1. Trump's on his way to $2 billion being raised this year for Trump's reelection. You think they're going to come even close? So this is all, everyone's talking about this failed propaganda spin against Trump, which, by the way, just so happens to expose Biden's one of his biggest controversies. Isn't that interesting how that happened? That's really bizarre how that would happen. Why would people be talking about a controversy that actually boomerangs back, that goes back to Biden? Why would people be talking about that now? Think, ladies and gentlemen. It's not conspiratorial when you know that Bernie Sanders was actually cheated. Bernie Sanders himself was cheated. So it's not like we know what they're about. We know what they're about. It's not like we don't know what's really happening with the Democratic Party. It's not like we don't know what they're capable of. This is, ladies and gentlemen, essentially the end of the Democratic Party. That's it. I mean, well, pretty much once Clinton loses again, which will be fantastic. This is essentially the end of the Biden campaign. There's no more Biden campaign after this. Whether he runs and, Clinton, if she decides to run before Iowa, she'll win Iowa. She'll pretty much run the table. Okay? Because this will be the, oh my God, the Russians tried to steal the election from me tour. And everyone is steeped in this religiosity, this theocracy of Russia interfered in the election to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated while giving Clinton the popular vote, but somehow losing swing states. It doesn't make any sense. Now you have this issue with the Ukraine that points directly to Biden, makes him unelectable. Okay? It's different. The Clintons can get away with pay-to-play schemes. Biden can't. Nobody can get away with, right or left, nobody can get away with what the Golden Moo can get away with. So why are we talking about this now? Why is every single person talking about this now? It's the biggest story to take place this election cycle, and it was meant to hurt Trump, and all it's doing is knocking the number one contender out of contention. So they say, oh, well, you know what? His poll numbers haven't been. If you look at CNN, MSNBC, they're still trying to. Democrats are still trying to paint this as a Trump scandal. It's not. It's not. There's a reason that it emanated from 2008. Give me your thoughts below. Clinton's running. It's just a matter of when. And this was a really nefarious type of situation. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second.